Juneteenth 2021. My name is Jess Laporte, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of the organizers for the event today.
I'm Noelle Ryby Williams. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm also an organizer for the event today.
Saudia Lamont, and she, her pronouns, and I'm also an organizer for today.
Maroni Mentor, he, him pronouns, and I'm also a helping organizer today.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming today. So there's a lot going on. On our left, on the blue tent, we have a kids table, and there's activities and drinks and snacks for the kids. And then we have red table. I don't know what that is. Same. Okay, so the red tent is also with the blue tent, and then there's free cupcakes and snacks and water right behind everybody. If you turn around to the left, with the yellow balloons. And then there's some information tables right next to them. And then on the right, there is the white tent, and that's the Ghanaian dish pickup. So if you ordered food, you can go get your food back there. And next to it, it's the wellness tent. And behind, there's Woodbelly on the street. So go pay them a visit. And last but not least, there's some t-shirts for sale. So yeah, have a great time.
So Noelle is very humble, but we are here in Montpelier in so many ways because of her. So I want everyone to give a louder round of applause. And I also just want to welcome everyone. Feel free to come onto the lawn. Now the cloud is creating shade for us, but we are willing it to not give us any rain. So come a little closer on the lawn. This is where performers and speakers are going to be. Make sure you got a good seat. And just a couple additions to what we have going on here. Everything here is free. If you want to contribute, you can provide a donation. For example, People's Pancakes are here. You could also donate to them. You can get a plate of pancakes, t-shirts, Woodbelly. But really feel free to just enjoy and receive, and please do not let us go home with any cupcakes. Yeah. Is that an agreement? So to get us started, I wanted to invite Shonda D up and her accompanist to sing us in.
I'm going to be singing Lift Every Voice and Sing, and so this is the Black National Anthem. So if you know the words, please feel free to sing along. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady the way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee, shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Happy Juneteenth, America!
Wow, can we get another round of applause? That was incredible. I would say we've heard it all and we can head home now, but we have an amazing set of speakers, poets, artists, musicians, all from Vermont that are going to share with you this evening. So I just wanted to start out by letting everyone know that you can feel free to go and pick up your pre-ordered food, get a snack, have some pizza, even though the program is going, because we got a lot going on. I also have another announcement. I have this phone that was lost. It's in a sandy gray case, and the back says control, but I don't know what that means. So if it's your phone, come find me. And to start us off, we had originally had a wonderful woman from the White River Junction area, Rachel Eddins, who has planned to share with us a bit of the history of Juneteenth. And so while I'm not as prepared as she would have been as a member of the Vermont Humanities Council, I'm going to do my best to share a few thoughts. First off, Juneteenth is a celebration, and today we named this event Living Liberation because I think as community organizers and Black people in Vermont, we really see our lives as living out what it means to be liberated and to be free here in Vermont and in all aspects of our lives. And Juneteenth commemorates when the last slaves were informed of that they were free and they were let go. And it's really wonderful to celebrate that freedom, but it's also important to reflect upon what they were being freed from and the resistance to Black people's freedoms on this land and across the globe. They had to be informed much later than many other slaves because their slave owners still wanted to keep up their way of life, still believed that they deserved to be in control of and own people as property. And so as we celebrate here today, I just want to invite everyone to reflect on our history and the both sides of it. It's wonderful to triumph and to celebrate Black folks who are succeeding. But the reality is that many of the systems that were born out of the end of slavery still hold so many Black folks back from being able to live a liberated life, to be able to live freely and without fear. So I ask you, what is Juneteenth to a person who is incarcerated? What is Juneteenth to our formerly incarcerated community members who can't participate in our democracy and vote? What is Juneteenth to the many Vermonters of color, in particular Black Vermonters, who have come here, who have made a community, who are from here, and who have to give up their homes because of stalking, harassment, and threats of physical violence against them from their community members? So as we celebrate and we think about liberation and freedom, I, as a vocal Black woman in this state, am reminded often that to be liberated in my speech and to speak freely and to speak openly about the realities of my life and my other Black siblings' lives is actually a very dangerous game. And so I invite you to be here in celebration, and I invite you to be here to learn and to hear the truths of these Black people who live in Vermont that are going to share with us this evening. And I personally ask, I don't want anyone to thank me as one of the organizers of this event. I want to thank this community because most of this has happened without actually spending a dime. It has happened from people coming together, providing resources and meeting needs, and being able to say, there's 300 free cupcakes, and there's food, and there's t-shirts, and there's activities for kids. That's because the community decided that we wanted to have this event and showed up. And I also ask that you do not thank me, because I'm asking that as people who are here at this event, who I'm assuming care about their Black neighbors, I'm asking that you would consider how you'll continue to be a part of living out liberation alongside us. So you'll hear from many amazing speakers tonight. You can also get information about action and movement that's happening in your communities over here. We have Reel from the Lamoille County area. We have Warwick from Waterbury Anti-Racist Coalition. We also have the Everything Space and the Vermont Kindness Project that all have information about their ongoing work. And I also wanted to highlight that in the Stowe area, we'll be hosting anti-racist story hours, and the woman who leads those is here today for the kids, and those will be happening weekly on Sundays. So there's so much to be involved in. The thank you and the gratitude is for everyone who is here, and it is also supposed to ignite us into action. So thank you for coming. And I'm very excited to announce our first performer, JoJo, who is a Montpelier High School student, and I met her here about a year ago and heard her sing, and we're so excited to have her with us. Oh, I'm just gonna take it off. Oh, yeah.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun.
Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While the clouds turn back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. Early in the morning, before the sun begins to shine, I'm gonna start moving towards a separating line. Oh, I'm waiting somebody else. You know I got a made up mind, and I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And I'll fight with the strength that I got until I die. So I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. And I know what's around the bend might be hard to face 'cause I'm alone. And I just might fail, but Lord knows I've tried. Shine stars fill the sky. Stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. Stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. I hear freedom calling, calling me to answer. Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. I go to prepare a place for you. 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 Oh, no, it's okay.
Woo! Okay. Little precaution. Okay, so for our next performance, we have Chantalee Gander joining us from southern Vermont. She's originally from Connecticut and calls Vermont home now. a poet, activist, artist of all things, convener of people. I don't know any other how many other titles. And just released her book, Ghetto Claustrophobia, which she'll be reading from tonight. So welcome, Chantalee.
Hi, everybody. Can I adjust this? Because I'm short even with heels on. It's hilarious. Okay, so thank you so much. Actually, it just turns out the book just came out this week. And you can get it from, shameless plug, Bear Pond Books. So go, it's the one that looks like the Hitchcock cover, black and white. You can't miss it. So this is my first debut poetry collection, Ghetto Claustrophobia, Dreaming of Mama While Trying to Speak Woman in Woke Tongues. And I'll start with the title poem. I kind of wanted to reclaim and twist and turn the term ghetto and take it and expand it to what it could be for any group of people or as a mental state, and not something that's just a stamp of a place where someone comes from or certain kinds of people come from. So the title poem, Ghetto Claustrophobia. Whether place, people, state of mind, you be locked in until you don't want to be. Noun, people. Ghetto claustrophobics, also ghetto claustrophobes, ghetto claustrophobians. 1. Any group of people, they evade capture. They evade description. 2. Identity, perceived or imagined. Noun, a place. Ghetto claustrophobia. 1. Fashion for, but not by. Think characters, think props. 2. Big, so big, endless, expansive. 3. Any place, the place with the matching riding mowers, that place where cliques of moms go by the same name. 4. Hotel room, apartment, house, dreamscape, cityscape, rulescape, selfscape, could be another country, could be the human body as container, as shell, as place. From brick to block to burb to brownstone to any place, as in so many, as in endless. 5. These places, real and imagined, just like the people, they evade capture. Adjective, state of mind, states of being, only an ailment if you want it to be. 1. Black girlhood in America. 2. Nightmares. 3. Stages of human development. Black Book of Creation. 1. How far can you, she said. Far, he said. How far, she said. So far, he said, that remembering all of them becomes a chant, he said. I only, she said, can go this far, she said. Great, great, Gert. 2. Some sounds invite eavesdropping to all the befores, before all the gates of never return, before tongues couldn't be trained in what they no longer are, before they knew about choosing between leaving of will or leaving of force, before the before that is time we didn't call time, before there was anything colored about it. That is, then, here, there are not separate, but on a table. 3. Mother sits fashioning her children, cosmic clay, stardust, and obsidian for resilience, dreams for seeing, and the things not contained by language, and hardships sometimes cloaked as nightmares, stories stitched into DNA, like home, distant, multiplied by separation anxiety, forgotten becomes exponential force that becomes a country expanded beyond its own self, beyond the shell that holds it together. 4. Creation is the conversation. What do you want to be? Said she. Anything we choose, said we. But what, said she, because the world, said she, will choose if you don't, said she. Magic, the ability to manipulate circumstance, said we. It shall be, said she. Time lures, said we. To collapse and expand time at will, said we. Visibility and invisibility at will, said we. It shall be, said she. But, said she, as gifts are given, they can be stolen, said she. So with each of these things, said she, it shall be a veil of forgetting, a spirit that resists destruction, and these wings, said she. Do not let anyone tell you they do not exist. Do not let anyone tell you that they are wax. 5. Funny how the universe beats against itself, creating echoes. How far can you go back, they said. Far, she said. How far, they said. So far, she said, it becomes a chant, she said. I know all the names of my mothers. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to, I was taken by a story. This poem that I'm about to read is not in the collection. It's about a queen who became a monster at the hands of history because she didn't want to give up her country. It's Queen Ranavalona of Madagascar, 1828 to 1861. And when I heard her story, I was inspired to write a poem about it. And this is a part of the other collection. And it just felt fitting for the theme of liberation. And I think a lot about self-liberation and what that means, especially to resist for a self what the world will try to tell you you should be, and giving ourselves permission to be. Queen Ranavalona's commandments for the way back. Silent observation, not agreement. Silence and observation are the way back. 1. Undo any agreements with the colonizers. 2. Untwist your tongue from their speak. 3. Unlearn their symbols. Create your own. Use their tools, use their knowledge, dismantle their house. 5. Find the footsteps of those you belong to. Follow them. 6. Build a mirage of simplicity. 7. Get their gods out of your veins. Rinse their prayers from your mouth. 8. Guard your natural resources. You'll know what they are. 9. Become all of and none of what they say. Be the wild they fear. 10. For the ones you trust, test them with poison. For the ones you trust, they will survive this ordeal. Be and do all these things and the things they'll accuse. I am the queen of an island, but you are a sovereign of self. Thank you. And I'll read this last poem. Something very cool about it. Tavernier Chocolates, which is located in southern Vermont, is crafting a chocolate to accompany this poem for an event that I'm doing. Yeah, it's like really good in July, so I'm really excited about it. Wake, a spell. Body pitched to the unseen. Don't darn all the holes, leave some for looking. Don't say all that is seen, leave some for those who gonna say, wake. Escaped walls and mouths gonna say otherwise. Between wake and sleep, some gonna ask you. Between wake and sleep, some gonna dare you You are the one who checked in here. No need to tell you. Wake. Yours is a tongue tuned to telling. Stitch stories, darn trauma, weave joy. And for the unwritten, the never said, the never seen, raise up as if dead. Thank you.
Wow, can we get another round of applause? Vermont is so rich in talent, and people traveled from all over the state to perform and to be with us. And that was kind of a purpose of this event, was to have a statewide event for people to come to. Our DJs from Southern Vermont, we have Chantilly from Southern Vermont, we have people coming in from all over. It's just wonderful. And our next performer is Reese Moore. I am in awe of this young woman and all of the work that she has done in her community. She is somebody who understands pushback and resistance to change, and just graduated from high school. So give a huge round of applause for Reese. And I'm not going to steal the thunder because she also just had another big win.
Hello, everybody. Happy Juneteenth. I just got to pull this. Okay, there we go. Also, happy Pride Month. And then one last happy thing. Happy 34th anniversary to my grandparents. They aren't here today, but I'm sure they're watching from somewhere. So I'm just going to jump right into this and say that I'm pretty disappointed at some of the schools in Vermont. At Mill River, I just got the Black Lives Matter flag raised, with the votes being 8-3 in favor of the flag. And that is very exciting. And I love to focus on the fact that I was able to do that. It's going to be flying for the first 3 months of the school year, starting in, I think it's the end of August. So really looking forward to that. But Wednesday, June 16th, the day of the meeting, it was an emotional roller coaster. I had a bunch of white people telling me that it should only be the American flag and the state flag, talking about how liberty and justice for all does not play a role in Black Lives Matter. Sorry for laughing. Some people were talking about how their religious oppression could compare to my racial oppression. And I had to stop them in the middle of their sentence saying, you can't... Oh, okay.
A little closer.
All right, thank you. All right. People were equating their religious oppression to my racial oppression, and I was hearing the words, "I see where you're coming from, and I admire your passion, but..." But these are just a few things that schools do on the regular to deliberately push aside the issue of racism. Though there are quite a few schools that get on my nerves in the same way. I want to talk about Fairhaven Union High School. That is the school that my best friend, who is also mixed race and looks white, attends. I was given permission to tell some of her story, and let me warn you, it's pretty heavy. After the murder of George Floyd, we started to see some of the worst in people, but we also started to see a lot more advocacy for the BIPOC community. My friend, of course, had always been advocating, but it was finally starting to be noticed. A lot of students around her started showing their true colors, too. I remember sitting at my house one day and receiving a long line of text messages from her. When I opened them, I saw that there was a student who was harassing her. Not just Black lives don't matter, but a deliberate, I hate Black people. She had also posted pictures she had drawn on social media of a person in white robes holding a torch to two brown people saying, "Die, N-word." I still have pictures of that, and it haunts me every day and makes me sick to my stomach. It was continued harassment like this that my friend faced and continues to face today. Believe it or not, it didn't stop there. The student was suspended, and then when they came back, they continued to harass her, used slurs constantly, and continued to gaslight my friend. Fairhaven did nothing. But there are recent events that have made me angrier than ever. My friend had been walking down a hallway with her friends and was laughing quietly with them. The harasser walking in front of her decided to turn around and started cussing her out, using derogatory terms, and everything that could offend somebody. Just started doing it. She wasn't even talking about the harasser. She was just having fun, laughing with her friends, like every student should have the ability to do. When this was brought to the attention of the officer that patrols Fairhaven Union High School, they told her to let it go. While my friend was talking to a teacher about it, the teacher started petting her hair and saying that it was best to just ignore it and it will all be fine. Not only is she being harassed, but her brother was walking home from school and was told to shut up. He then replied, "No, but what are you going to do about it?" And he was told by the student that was walking behind him that they would make him worse than George Floyd. As a result of the harassment that my friend and her brother have faced, they have to leave that school. And when my friend told that officer that she was leaving, they said to stay. They told her to stay and just push through it so that the harasser wouldn't win. Are you kidding me? Is that how you let a school run? Is that okay to you? A student is being forced to move out of a school due to the school's inability to comprehend how extreme this racism is. And you're gonna let your teachers pet students after going something extremely traumatic? Sorry. That sounds like a crappy school to me. And no, I don't mind saying that. Fairhaven is yet another school that needs to be called out, and I am not afraid to do so. The lives of your students are on the line. And if you aren't going to do your job to protect them, then I'm going to get all the help I can from the community. I thought school was supposed to help the community become strong and loving members of society. Fairhaven is letting things happen that could cause people to die. Fairhaven isn't the only school who is guilty of this, but I've heard too many stories from my friend to stay silent about it. Day after day, I receive messages from her about different students saying and doing different horrific things, and I am not letting that slide. Quite frankly, I'm not sure how to attack this situation, but I figured providing this information is a step in the right direction. And I hope that more and more students will come to the table and start talking about their experiences in their schools with racism. And to those who may feel uncomfortable or threatened, I want you to know that you are seen, that you are heard. Even though you may feel like your voice is being suppressed by the people around you, everybody here hears you today. And if you want your story told, please do not hesitate to ask anyone. I would gladly lift your voice. Your voice matters. You are loved. You are heard. And I have said this before so many times, and I will say it again many, many more times. You cannot have true liberty and justice for all until the voices of the oppressed have been lifted and listened to. Thank you.
Wow, can we just sit with that for a second? The truth of that story and just the power of that voice. Thank you, Reese. Okay, so I heard that some people can't hear in the back. And if you're comfortable, come on up. There's lots of space on this lawn and that lawn, and you can come a little closer. And you can also, though it's a little hard, if you have chairs, you can sit in the walkways. We're just trying to balance the sound system. I also, before I introduce our next performer, I want to just let everyone know, if you have kids, story hour is going to be at 6 p.m. and at 7 p.m., so you can head that way if you want to join Anti-Racist Story Hour with Laura Smith. And now, and as you can tell, I'm hugging everyone because these are people in Vermont that I know thanks to so many of the amazing organizers that came before me, before I moved back here. And so I feel like I'm just introducing friends, which is so lovely. And this next one is a true friend. We go way back, not in time, but in distance. This is Zenavia Wilcox, and they are an amazing poet activist out of the Burlington area. And they are going to be offering their many gifts in the Burlington School District this coming year. And especially after hearing Reese's story, it just made me think how much more we need people like Zenavia in our schools. So without further ado.
I just want to say Reese's words are all too common, unfortunately. In Fairfax, Winooski, South Burlington, and Burlington, where I actually grew up. Sometimes it's hard, I feel like, celebrating liberation, celebrating freeness in a time where we aren't necessarily free. And we've seen that with Micaiah Bryant, Jacob Blake, and folks who died without any amplification in news and stories. But in white America, it's very often to be black and question what it would be like. So this is a letter to Black America. To put it simply, some things are just in our blood. Really, black and in sync. Our hips intertwine like the crochet braids that stretch down to my thighs, glistening with the sun, like the warmth of my bones when they make it out the mud. Close your eyes. I said, close your eyes, siblings. Imagine an America, no longer discredited, but embedded in melanin. An America which you are beyond what you could imagine, where you are the dream. Black is mainstream. Coffee like I like my future, hold the cream. Sexuality has no toll. A bond no longer held by the death of our siblings, but the growth of our collective soul. Protection and connection, community. Like silk after a long day of kinks and curls, unity that sticks. Hair clips and hair picks held so tightly to our hips. Ain't nothing to do but mistake it as a weapon of mass perfection. With one direction, peace, harmony, and peace. Where 4C is ideal and all C4s yield. Here, they've learned to black out the binary, so we all shine more queer. No fear in high sight. Karma's divine, no Zal in those who think out of spite. Our children plant seeds of revelation, nurtured by the steady drip of our founders, seeping through the soil for revolution, ridding ancestral pollution. Black America, where black lives thrive and strive for all siblings to come. Black America, where black lives proceed to exceed the standards they mislead. Black America, where black lives can truly live to their full capacity. Black America, for growth and more color than the month of May. However, my golden children, I cannot introduce you yet. I know, it's kind of foolish. But Black America is a revolution away. We'll be there soonish. And that's Black America. So, that's a really Montpelier vibe. I feel like Every time in Montpelier, it's like in the back of my brain. It haunts you a little bit. The Harleys out here. All right, so this one is called Paid Free. I grew up being so afraid to ask for anything. I grew up thinking that I had to be so independent that I couldn't get any help from anyone, let alone a white person. So this is a poem I kind of wrote for myself to remind me that everything I own now, everything I am to own in the future, my family, my ancestors, paid it free. I've been trying really hard to steer away from capitalist language. Like to accumulate, to consume, to work so hard you deserve some representation, ranking, promotion. All things that wouldn't exist if the stigma and erasure of black people never existed. In other words, capitalism taught us that all white triumph, luxury, success came at the expense. But there goes that language again. I question at the expense of who? But what capitalism ignores is that every charge is transactional. You pay, I owe you, you owe me, but we paid, baby, and we don't owe a damn thing. Freedom was never free. All that labor, production. It doesn't surprise me that an older black woman told me during an event for Ma'Khia Bryant, black people never get to be carefree. You gotta take it, she said. Own that space for yourself. But there goes that language again. Little did she know I was currently a week into filling my body up with so much yes and never forgets to say no. Bathing in gallons of that bitch, hoping it didn't just float to the top of my head. A whole week of running on only my time, overdressed and blessed on my prime. With the stickiest of hands, I took it. Sticky like the rain in the summer. But like all, my hands dried up, and I was caught with the world. Soon after the death of Ma'Khia came the death of Adam Toledo, Dante Wright. In a surprising full conviction of George Floyd's murder, which I forgot to celebrate. See, I took and America gave, just as it usually does, half-assed and not even a half-mast flag to acknowledge what they had done. One more week, I had one more week to celebrate me. So I went on a date. I wore the dopest outfit I could put together at the time. I was really hoping this white boy could catch my vibe. A high slit skirt that reminded me my body was mine. A tank top that flexed all my tattoos. Melanin homegrown to prove, actually you can tattoo on deeper tones. Whoever said that was severely wrong. I decked my body out with no charge. And all the gold necklaces, earrings, rings I could find. Classic. For every time I was told my large hoops. For every time I was told my large hoops, thick, wide, bamboo style, small or thin, were so impressive, worth a mention, or an excuse to call me sassy. Getting a grip, the first thing I said, sitting across the table with the smile on my face, was, I'm not looking for a relationship. Said for all the times I was told to fall to the knees of a white man who took at least some interest in my name. Orienting respect without needing to demand. Same, he said. During this date, the guy made a confident comment about being able to say whatever the hell he wanted. So I told him I hated his chain. Keeping myself sane. For all the brown boys who lost lives because their hoodies just weren't a light enough shade. In the eyes of the law, colorblind, a colored fine, as the capitalists say, a death you'd pay to see. I spent the rest of the week learning to let myself be. Realizing I can no longer take the blame for others' perceptions and expectations of me. So I smoked tree. like those of my ancestry, and lived with the acceptance of my liberation being paid free. And that's paid free. Thank you.
Can we have another round of applause for that? Zenavia is in the process of putting together a book, and I have a feeling a lot of it lives on their phone. So we have just one more speaker, and then the Montpelier Gospel Choir will be joining us for a few songs to sing us into intermission. But now I want to invite Moroni Minter, of many hats, somebody who has spent a lot of time working alongside his community and for his community. So Moroni, come and share.
I'm gonna lower this microphone. Hello, everybody. Hello, Montpelier. Hello, Washington County. It's so good to be here. It's so good to see so many faces. As I just mentioned, my name is Moroni Minter. I am the campaign director for the American Civil Liberties Union, or the ACLU of Vermont. The ACLU of Vermont is dedicated to advancing the civil rights and civil liberties of everyone who calls Vermont home. I am also a founder of the Waterbury Area Anti-Racism Coalition, which is in the back there. So I encourage you to check out the table for more information. We are a group that is committed to challenging racism in the Waterbury area at all levels, including systemic racism in our local institutions and policies. But today we are here to recognize June 19th, 1865, or Juneteenth, the day the news about enslaved black people being freed from slave made it to Galveston, Texas, which was 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. It is a day in the black community that is marked with joy, celebration, and togetherness. It is a time of reflection and pride for black people in America. It is also a time to pause and acknowledge that there is a lot of work still to be done in order to have those three little words, we, the people, in our Constitution, apply to all of us. We know that there is more work to be done to recognize that Black lives matter. That there is more work to be done, yes, here in Vermont, to ensure that our black and brown communities are treated with the respect they deserve. And there is more work to be done to create more moments of black joy and celebration. Right now, in cities across the country, people of all races, nationalities, and religions are joining hands to truthfully acknowledge the period in our history that shaped and continues to influence our society today. Now, with Juneteenth now being recognized as a federal holiday, my hope is that more Americans will acknowledge and understand this stand on our history and will want to do the work to ensure that Black lives matter. We must not forget that after being forced to work for the enrichment of America, newly liberated Black Americans continued to suffer violent exploitation under Jim Crow laws, black codes in the South, and de facto segregation across the nation, long after Juneteenth. During the 1990s and early 2000s, racism entered America in the form of so-called tough on crimes policies. The foul war on drugs targeted the black community and inflated sentencing laws to draconian levels. The result was, and still, the vast majority of black men being imprisoned for decades and kept away from their families. Their bodies are still under control of others, but with a different justification, law and order. Still today, our systems of justice are far more willing to treat officers as innocent until proven guilty than they are the black community. Now, for many of you here, Vermont may feel a world away from Minneapolis and the sites of so many uprisings. As a black man living in Vermont, I'm here to tell you that we are not. The data continues to show that black people are stopped and searched by Vermont police at the higher rates, and Vermont still continues to imprison black men at one of the highest rates in the nation. If Vermont wants to eradicate systemic racism, it cannot ignore the role that criminal legal system plays in harming black and brown communities. We must commit to divesting resources away from prison system and reinvesting them in our communities, because everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, no matter who they are or where they live. And that is why I am proud of the work that the ACLU is doing to reform criminal legal justice system here in Vermont. We are fighting for a new era of smart justice, a system that is substantially smaller, free of bias and discrimination, and committed to the personal safety, health, and dignity of every individual and community. We have both the opportunity and responsibility to eliminate our over-reliance on incarceration and address racial disparities at every point in the system, from someone's first interaction with law enforcement to when they return to their community. So what does that mean? It means that we need you to join us in this campaign and help us fight to reform our sentencing laws, eliminate cash bail, and decriminalize poverty, mental health conditions, substance misuse. It also means that we need to hold prosecutors accountable, collect comprehensive data on where racial disparities show up in our system, and so much more, including big, bold police reform. Together, we can address systemic racism in our prisons, in our communities, and across this country. If you want to learn more about how you can join the ACLU and take action here in Vermont, please take out your cell phone right now. Don't worry, I'll wait. Go to acluvt.org and click on that red image that says Sign Smart Justice Petition. That way, when we need you to help us advocate for smarter criminal justice policies, we will connect with you. And also, don't forget to follow the ACLU of Vermont on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Now, we all know that what makes Vermont unique is our connection to each other. So let's come together and do the work to ensure that our communities are strong, vibrant, inclusive, and ensure that Black lives matter. Thank you all so much.
Woo! I don't see enough telephones out. We'll wait. We're here for it. Shameless plug, also work that I've been involved in the Burlington area with folks like Zenavia and my sister and many, many comrades in the area is around community control of police, which is a measure of accountability for police when misconduct happens. You can find me after the event if you want to learn more, and we would hope to see something on the state level as well. While the gospel choir gets set up, I'm going to have to give them this mic soon. I realized that I forgot an important announcement, which is that we have travel funds available up to $100 for any Black folks who traveled in from around the state and would like to help offset some of the costs of joining us here today. So if you are interested in that, feel free to find me. I won't be on the mic in the second set of programming. So feel free to find me, or you can also ask Noelle and Sadia and Maroney, and we can connect you to that fund. We don't want this to be a hardship for anyone. So thank you, and I'm going to give over the mic.
Thank you.
Hello, hello. Hello. Yep.
I've been going ever since I made a start. Days are brighter. Hallelujah. Made my burden lighter. Love just bubbles over in my heart. Well, hallelujah. I've been going ever since I made a start. Days are brighter. Hallelujah. Made my burden lighter. Love just bubbles over in my heart.
Well, when I get to heaven, I'm gonna sing and tell.
My Jesus, love just bubbles over in my heart.
You know, 3 tall angels gonna tone that mighty bell.
Jesus, love just bubbles over in my heart. Well, hallelujah. I've been going ever since I made a start. Days are brighter. Hallelujah. Made my burden lighter. Love just bubbles over in my heart.
Well, when I get to heaven, trying on my shoes, my Jesus,
Love just bubbles over in my heart.
I'm gonna walk around in heaven, down past that news. My Jesus,
Love just bubbles over in my heart. Well, hallelujah. I've been going ever since I made a start. Days are brighter. Hallelujah. Made my burden lighter. Love just bubbles over in my heart.
Well, now you better be careful when you cross that shore. Jesus,
Love just bubbles over in my heart.
you know, if you're on a slip and trip, you're gonna lose your heavenly soul. Jesus,
Love just bubbles over in my heart. Well, hallelujah. I've been going ever since I made a start. Days are brighter. Hallelujah. Made my burden lighter. Love just bubbles over in my heart. Well, hallelujah. I've been going ever since I made a start. Days are brighter. Hallelujah. Made my burden lighter. Love just bubbles over in my heart. Love just bubbles over in my heart. Courage, my soul, and let us journey on. Though the night is dark and I am far from home, thanks be to God, the morning light appears. is passing over. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. 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 The storm. The storm. The storm. The storm. The storm is passing over. The storm. The storm is passing over. The storm. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. 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 The storm.
I think we should take a little bow.
Happy Juneteenth, everyone!
Enjoy your
Can you hear me now? Okay, there we go. All right, so to start us off on the second half of tonight's event, we have Shonda D and Isadora. Shonda will be reciting an Amanda Gorman poem, and Isadora will be dancing. So I want to remind you all too, please, there are donation jars in the back, so if you enjoyed the performance, feel free to donate in the back of the jars. Thank you.
In This Place, an American lyric by Amanda Gorman. There's a poem in this place, in the footfalls in the halls, in the quiet beat of the seats. It is here at the curtain of day, where America writes a lyric you must whisper to say. There's a poem in this place, in the heavy grace, the lined face of this noble building, collections burned and reborn twice. There's a poem in Boston's Copley Square, where protest chants tear through the air like sheets of rain, where love of the many swallows hatred of the few. There's a poem in Charlottesville, where tiki torches string a ring of flame tight round the wrist of night, where men so white they gleam blue seem like statues, where men heap that long wax burning ever higher, where heather higher blooms forever in a meadow of resistance. There's a poem in the great sleeping giant of Lake Michigan, defiantly raising its big blue head to Milwaukee and Chicago. A poem begun long ago, blazed into frozen soil, strutting upward and aglow. There's a poem in Florida, in East Texas, where streets swell into a nexus of rivers, cows afloat like mottled buoys in the brown, where courage is now so common that 23-year-old Jesus Contreras rescues people from floodwaters. There's a poem in Los Angeles, yawning wide as the Pacific tide, where a single mother swelters in a windowless classroom teaching black and brown students in Watts to spell out their thoughts so her daughter might write this poem for you. There's a lyric in California where thousands of students march for blocks, undocumented and unafraid, where my friend Rosa finds the power to bloom in deadlock, her spirit the bedrock of her community. She knows hope is like a stubborn ship gripping a dock, a truth that you can't stop a dreamer or knock down a dream. How could this not be her nation, su nacion, our country, our America? Our American lyric to write a poem by the people, the poor, the Protestant, the Muslim, the Jew, the native, the immigrant, the black, the brown, the blind, the brave, the undocumented and undeterred, the woman, the man, the non-binary, the white, the trans, the ally to all of the above and more. Tyrants fear the poet. Now that we know it, we can't blow it, we owe it to show it, not slow it, although it hurts to sow it when the world skirts below it. Hope, we must bestow it like a wick in the poet, so it can grow lit, bringing with it stories to rewrite. The story of a Texas city depleted but not defeated. A history written that need not be repeated. A nation composed but not yet completed. There's a poem in this place. A poem in America. A poet in every American who rewrites this nation, who tells a story worthy of being told on this minnow of an earth. To breathe hope into a palimpsest of time, a poet in every American who sees that our poem penned doesn't mean our poems end. There's a place where this poem dwells. It is here, it is now, in the yellow song of dawn's bell, where we write an American lyric we are just beginning to tell.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One more round of applause. That was beautiful. Okay. Next up, Dawn Ellis will be reading the Emancipation Proclamation. So,
when Lost Nation Theater asked me to do this, I thought it was really important to bring these words to this moment with the theme being liberation today. And I see as I follow the words of one of our newest wordsmiths, a powerful woman many of us met this January, I realize it's in conversation that her words follow the words of Abraham Lincoln, follow the words of Frederick Douglass, follow the words of Rosa Parks, follow the words of Harriet Tubman, follow the actions of those who have come before. And so it is important for us to think about Abraham Lincoln's work and the Emancipation Proclamation as a work in progress. This was a point in time when the country was gripped, when the states were ripping apart in a long conflict, wearing thin, killing, ripping brother from brother. Many, many moons into it, Abraham Lincoln came to the point of seeing the way to move forward this piece of justice that he had stood for so long. It's in an act of war that he sees the opportunity. And it is a beginning. As you listen to it, think about what we have achieved and what we have not yet achieved of what he proclaims. the Emancipation Proclamation from 1863 by the President of the United States of America, a proclamation. Whereas on the 22nd day of September in the year of our Lord, 1862, a proclamation was issued by the President of the United States containing, among other things, the following to wit. That on the first day of January, in the year of our Lord, 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall be then thenceforward and forever free. And the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authority thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, and will do no act or acts to repress such persons or any of them in any efforts they may make for their actual freedom. That the executive will, on the first day of January aforesaid, by proclamation, designate the states and parts of states, if any, in which the people thereof respectively shall then be in rebellion against the United States, and the fact that any state or the people thereof shall be on that day be in good faith represented in the Congress of the United States by members chosen thereto at elections, where a majority of the qualified voters of such state shall have participated, shall, in the absence of strong countervailing testimony, be deemed conclusive evidence that such state and the people thereof are not then in rebellion against the United States. Now, therefore, I, Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States, by virtue of the power in me vested as Commander-in-Chief of the Army and the Navy of the United States in time of actual armed rebellion against the authority and government of the United States, and as a fit and necessary war measure for suppressing said rebellion, do, on this first day of January, in the year of our Lord 1863, and in accordance with my purpose, so to do publicly proclaimed for the full period of 100 days, from the first day, first above mentioned, order and designate as the states and parts of states, wherein the people thereof respectively are this day in rebellion against the United States, the following, to wit: Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, except the parishes of St. Bernard, Plaquemines, Jefferson, St. John, St. Charles, St. James Ascension, Assumption, Terrebonne, Lafourche, St. Mary, St. Martin, and Orleans, including the city of New Orleans, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia, except the 48 counties designated as West Virginia, and also the counties of Berkeley, Accomack, Northampton, Elizabeth City, York, Princess Anne, and Norfolk, including the cities of Norfolk and Portsmouth, and which accepted parts are for the present left precisely as if this proclamation were not issued. and by the virtue of the power and for the purpose aforesaid, I do order and declare that all persons held as slaves within said designated states and parts of states are and henceforward shall be free, and that the executive government of the United States, including the military and the naval authorities thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of said persons. And I hereby enjoin upon the people so declared to be free to abstain from all violence unless in necessary self-defense. And I recommend to them that in all cases when allowed, they labor faithfully for reasonable wages. And I further declare and make known that such persons of suitable condition will be received into the armed service of the United States to garrison forts, positions, stations, and other places, and to man vessels of all sorts in said service. And upon this act, sincerely believed to be an act of justice, warranted by the Constitution, upon military necessity, I invoke the considerate judgment of mankind and the gracious favor of Almighty God. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the United States to be affixed. Done. At the city of Washington, this first day of January in the year of our Lord 1863, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 87th, by the President Abraham Lincoln, William H. Seward, Secretary of State.
Thank you. Oh, okay. I'm like, why I keep losing service? Thank you so much, Dawn. Beautifully done. Now let's just acknowledge for a moment, okay? 1863. Yes? We're here today to celebrate June 19th, 1865. I just want to point out and acknowledge how often and how frequently, still to this day, so many things, fair wage, so many things, the freedom of labor. And remember that just still recently, slavery is written into Vermont legislation, right? Okay, so let's just acknowledge that beautiful piece of history that was just read, that we are still in 2021 working to get actual change for. Yes? I just want to acknowledge that and put that in the space. Okay? Enough of that. Next. Right? We just had to acknowledge it because that's why we're here. And that's the importance. But next we have Belinda de Jesus will be coming to perform some poetry for you and is going to bless your ears with some fabulous poetry. So I'm going to welcome them to the space. And don't forget, there are donation jars in the back. Okay? Thank you all, Belinda.
Hello, hello. Hola a todos. Welcome, everybody. going to start off with some words that hit me pretty hard last year. I know a lot of us were kind of vegging out on the Netflix and what have you, but I made it my business to try to consume some conscious media, and Lovecraft Country was definitely high on the list. I'm going to start with an honorary, opening for Sonia Sanchez for the poem Don't Kill. Also, I'm really nervous. Thank you so much. I'm going to lower this. Here we go. I'll be on the high, on the high, on the high, on the high, honey. Oh, I'll be on the low, on the low, on the low, just the same. And I'll be at the mercy of my knees, and that's where the poetry lies. And how would I grow without the pain? Sonia Sanchez, here we go. Sometimes I wonder what to say to you now. In the soft afternoon air, as you hold us all in contempt, as you hold us all in a single debt, I say, where is your fire? Where is your fire? You got to find it and pass it on. You got to find it and pass it on. You got to find it and pass it on. And sometimes the poetry takes me back. And this time, as I leave Miss Sonia Perez, I remember the age when I was 9. Brown child, up in the woods in upstate New York, grandma taking me up here. I'm like, why am I here? I don't like the bugs. Take me home. But the more she took me there, the more she worked me over, meaning we ain't here to party, we're here to work, which was kind of a new thing for my spoiled ass. It made me listen from a place of stillness. And we have had to all be quite still, and not just quarantine. I think in one way or another, we all have some listening to do. It's not just about the talk. It's about what does it mean to listen through one's own white fragility? What does it mean to hold a mirror to oneself, a sounding board? Even in my case, I am of mixed race. I have definitely played up my light skin card, and I can admit that. I have work to do as well. We all have choices to make. So here I am at 9. My favorite time was going by the river, Delaware, Calico, New York. Pretty fucking white little town. And I remember seeing this tree I fell in love with. And I looked forward to it every time. And one day, a devastating storm came through, and the roots were completely taken out. You could see the interior, the anatomy of this grandmother, just fully exposed, gutted out, and I was devastated. And I, 9 years old, crying over a tree. I'd come a long way from just loving the concrete I was born from. So the next summer, I saw something in my young mind that was miraculous. So many beautiful flowers had grown on this tree that had fallen. Animals were living in it. Suddenly, this had become the spinal cord of resuscitation for that area. New roots grew. New life was born. And something that occurred to me much later in life, as I look back to this moment, the story that I retell and retell every time I learn something new, is that sometimes we just need to grow where we are. From where we are now. Because there is no perfect time to take action when there is such great urgency like there is now. You grow where you are. And I'll add, we have to respect where we each are mutually in growth as well. Because that tree suddenly was reborn. So, sure, the trunk was there, but there was new life, new pulsation. So with that, I leave you with these stories, these poetries, this interwoven song inspired by those who've helped me survive, the poets, the homeless, the addicts, the sex workers, the disabled that I like to refer to especially abled, because there's some of the people of like, that community is amazing, the queer community. I mean, all of the groups, the families that have helped me survive are all belonging to what most would consider the scum of this earth. So here I am, reborn myself, my own addiction history, homelessness. I came from the Bronx, been poverty torn my whole life, but I have to say, growing from where I have been has made the difference. And with that, I say I believe in all of you, wherever you are at. Perfection doesn't exist. Just keep at it. That's one big thing I ask of all of you. Complacency is why we continue to repeat these mistakes. It is 2021. Let's do better, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Belinda. Again, that was not good enough. I need more. Thank you. Now I can feel it. Now they can feel it. Yes, right? We talk about community. We talk about different groups we belong to. We talk about liberation. That is why we're here. Yes? Living liberation. Yes? What have you been liberated from? Whom have you helped be liberated from something else? Yes? That is why we're here. So, change of plans. I'm up next. So, I will introduce myself. As I said earlier, for those of you who are late arrivals, my name is Saudi Elamont, and I am from Lamoille County. And I'm going to perform a piece that I wrote specifically for today. So I hope it is welcome and received, and you hear the words and listen to what they mean. I hope it resonates with the people who it is supposed to resonate with, and I hope it inspires the people it is supposed to inspire. And I hope you feel the words. Yes? Okay. Living in Vermont, before I get started, as a person of color, a woman of color with disabilities, all these different intersectionalities and marginalizations, it's really complicated and it's complex. And oftentimes, we don't know how to exist or live or feel or breathe or be. And so I wrote this piece for anyone who may be feeling that same kind of stifledness or silencing, because remember, silence is violence, right? And so it is up to us to speak up for each other and to hear each other. So with that, I present to you Living Liberation. They hover and swarm until you submit and conform to the arbitrary cis hetero Euro norms that are our society. Constricting my space, restricting my suscitation. I feel like I'm suffocating. I can't breathe. I'm not free to be me, the mask I must wear to please thee, because you refuse to see me or let me be me. My identity is mine to define, but you undermined my ability to decide for myself who I choose to be as a human. You deny my humanity, my pain, my tears, my fears, my voice, my boundaries, my experiences. They fall on deaf ears. You don't hear me. Only fear me and sometimes revere me, ever so reluctantly. Your white tears silence my pain, causing me to refrain from speaking my truth. Your privilege to be aloof. My existence is proof of the resilience and perseverance that runs through my blood, passed down through my ancestors' love, and pours down on me from up above. As I stand here before you to encourage the youth, speak your truth. Don't refrain. When you hold in your pain, you stand nothing to gain, as only a shell remains, which contains all of the lies we've been told, dreams waiting to unfold, all the conflicting contradictions the future holds. I need you to be bold. Be brave. Keep fighting for change. The future is yours, so stand tall and proclaim it. As we stand on this stolen land, raise up your hands and demand justice. But not just for us. Justice for you and justice for me and all of humanity. As we celebrate our freedom from change, the legacy of oppression remains, but that stain is not ours to claim. Let us shed this narrative and leave it here today as we celebrate Freedom Day. Juneteenth, joyous jubilee, the day our people finally became free, but only in principality. We want reparations and accurate education. We want voting rights and prison reform. The violence and injustice of our people to stop being the norm. So before we go, I want my melanated people to know I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I love you. And everyone else, I feel the same. But the real work is up for you to do. Thank you.
Get a little louder, a little louder, a little louder. Amazing organizer, amazing mother, amazing spoken word artist. Our next act is going to be the Horsemen coming up from southern Vermont. So can you make some noise to get them out here? Oh, come on, a little bit more. Also, if you're sitting, you might want to get up, you might want to move around. I can't be the hype person, I'll just let them hype themselves.
Listen, my friend, are you ready to go? I can't hear you really. Are you ready to go? Let's go. Louder, louder, louder.
Let's go, let's go. Some noise. Yeah. Let's go.
Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready, Horsemen?
We ready. Are you ready?
Start out.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go, y'all. So we came here to have a good time. It's the first Juneteenth.
Yo, let's go. Yo. You feel me? Yeah. Let's go. Y'all feel the vibe. Yeah, just vibe with me, yo. My crew gon' ride. Let's go. Ride with me, yo, and we alive. Yeah. On this stage, you know we getting live. We litty, yo. There's no facade, 'cause here we go. Feel the vibe. Just vibe with me, yo. My crew gon' ride. Ride with me, yo, and we alive. Let's go. On this stage, you know we getting live. We litty, yo. There's no facade, 'cause here we go. This right here, day in the life. Vibe we create all day and all night. We set the tone and we finna get hype. Life right here, twin blessing the mic. Hey, yo, feeling the vibes. Never look back, breaking the ties. What's your future or your demise? We the focus on parallel ground. Let's go, be shining. Gotta stay with it. This what I'm saying. To be your religion, to be your selection, to find analytics. You ain't a critic, symbolic with lyrics. Here's the start of 15 minutes. Gotta keep working, gotta keep winning, gotta keep serving. If this the beginning, but yeah, I'm certain the world keeps spinning. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Love control, go. Just let it go. Feel the vibe of the horseman. It's like a postman, so you better take caution off it. If you been sitting in the coffin, hey, people can't handle. Light a candle, and I put you on a mantle. Feel the place towards the vibe. Just creating the vibe. Creating the vibe, alright. If you wanna hop in the side, sit tight. Sit tight, hip. Say come inside. What? Get inside. Let's go. Can't be here. Let's go. Into here now. Yeah, I feel the vibe. Just vibe with me, yo. My crew gon' ride. Ride with me, yo, and we alive. Let's go. On this stage, you know we getting live. We litty, yo. It's no facade. Just here we go. Feel the vibe. Just vibe with me, yo. My crew gon' ride. Let's go. Ride with me, yo, and we alive. On this stage, you know we getting live. We litty, yo. It's no facade. Just here we go. I'm in this with no ceilings. Step aside, come catch a vibe. Step around the whole building. It's Christian Dior. You can't afford. Bangs world's my vision. I'm on form and I'm too lit, but I call it quick cause I'm gifted. Let's go. Stay litty is never a no. Run to the back when he yakking in the club. Post when we ride up and stay in the club. You coming in game, you finna get touched. Bow. Coming in game, you finna get touched. You ain't never felt pain till you down in the rain. Go so the show, don't give it all. Let's go. Go vibes over here, my dude. Family ties with a pair to you. Step aside, come take it true. Love vibes finna stick and move. Which one of y'all finna make it move? Letting you feeling like sit up, living around me, you finna about me, who finna like this? Next, I know they feeling the vibe, saying you don't, you know that they lie. Shut down the spot whenever we ride, drama just put it aside. This is different, now they gotta listen. On the mission, make them have vision. Go get it, ain't no decision. First of all, love is what they wishing. Never, chasing the bag, always after the cheddar. Touching more paper than shredders. Time to get right, we feeling good. Feeling with feelings of letters. I swear I love how we living. Thinking we making the killing. Taking off right to the ceiling. It's a vibe, and I know that you feel it. It's vibe. Just vibe with me, yo. My crew gon' ride. Yo, and we alive. On this stage, you know we getting live. We litty, yo. It's no facade, 'cause here we go. Just vibe with me, yo. My crew gon' ride. Let's go. Ride with me, yo, and we alive. On this stage, you know we getting loud, we litty, yo. It's no facade, 'cause here we go. Montpelier, make some noise. Let's go. Let's get started. Hey, yo. This is the first Juneteenth, the first celebration, so we thankful that y'all here. We doing something different this year. Let's go. We showing it. So I got a song for that. Something different. Talk to him. Listen for a second. Yo, forever fresh. Hey, yo. Let's get it. Check it. All facts, nothing fabricated. Most niggas be hating. But they should be congratulating. On the road to make it. Took my time, had the patience. Now I'm killing this. About to make it blatant. Blowing on neck. I'm taking over, man, across to the bank. I'ma keep doing me and never care what they think. Life a horror flick is scary, but I took it on the chin. Opportunity was knocking, wasn't letting her in. Hey, yo, can't move in life, I'm at the table again. I done took enough L's, so it's time that I win. Like a Grinch, I'm evil, but I'm grinning. Trying to do right, somehow I can't help but sinning. The snakes out there biting, got the toxin in the venom. And girls get excited, trying to see what's in my denim. Nah, Not for shorty won't like that. Done with the nonsense, bringing you life raps. Hey, y'all, this is something different. You usually won't listen to a brother with some vision. Look at how we live it. The whole world in division. Rapping about lies, leave it to the politicians. Hey yo, this is something different. You usually won't listen to a brother with some vision. But look at how we live it. The whole world's in division. Rapping about lies, leave it to the politicians. Yo, don't wanna be nothing but me. Tired of clowns mimicking everything that they see. Gotta be woke before you live in a dream. Had the vision since a broke homie trying to get green. Know what I mean? Something crazy going on in this world. Cause you can't be together, stop a good dad from seeing his girl. These things is more valuable than dollars and pearls. Another black man dead on TV. I wanna why the hell we gon' get changed? Who sent the referral? Let's hear the name to add to that long list of the mural. Whoa, rocky keep grinding. You know, pressure turn the darkest coal into a diamond. The system need realignment. It's crazy. Thinking we gon' make it. Now the nails that ain't work, so we gon' take it. They say all lives matter. I'm like, what is you saying? They only out here killing us. Don't get it mistaken. Yeah, justice. This is something different. You won't listen to a brother with some vision. But look at how we live it. The whole world in division. Rapping about lies, leave it to the politicians. And yet, this is something different. You won't listen to a brother with some vision. But look at how we live it. The whole world in division. Rapping about lies, leave it to the politicians. Yeah. Let's go, y'all. Hey, feeling us. Yeah, we just getting started. We got a couple more songs for y'all, but I hope y'all enjoying it. Make some noise for yourselves for coming out today. Let's go, y'all. And all racial injustice. Hey, who is it? Let's go get it. It's Dougie. It's Dougie. Yeah, y'all, we going. That's right. It's a beautiful way. Yeah. It's a beautiful way to do it. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it ain't over yet. We still going. We got a couple more. It ain't over yet. We got a few more for y'all. Couple more. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. What you got to say? Speak on them. I go by the name of Circle Bangs, part of the horse. Let's get it. What you got to say? I got my son Cassidy Xavier on this song when he was only a year old. It's one of the favorite songs I ever wrote. It's really deep, you know, it's personal. So just listen. Yeah. Speak on it. I'm independent, but you would think I would be signed to a deal. Hop in the family, yeah, it's a rental, but I'm just keeping it real. Keeping it stacked, I need a bag, I'm broke from paying these bills. I'm in the trap, bagging up gas, and not a fee for a deal. No pace, I'm gone. Yo, we not the same at all. I made changes, switch the pizza, period in my songs. They like to hate and spread rumors when 16 I was on. But the ones who been there will know I am not a fraud. This is the life in the moment. He's saying I was hopeless. I ain't had no focus, cause I lost the control. What I wanted in my life, now I got it all life. Got my son on my side, and the girl down the ride. I don't switch up on my guys, you can see it in my eyes. I've been real for the jump. I'll be the same when I die. I'm the last of my kind, can't match my fly. I'm the king of Vermont, that's my sign. I move better when I'm all alone. On the road like Post Malone. Push back, never overdose. First service had a moment. Can't be my gang, I bleed that itch. I show no pain, but I feel them hands. I feel them hands. I feel them hands. Yeah. Let's go, y'all. Montpelier, make some noise. Yeah. Go. I'm independent, but you would think I already signed to a deal. Yeah. Keep it real. Keep it stacked. I need a bag. I'm broke for paying these bills. Hey. All right. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Yo, Carl. Let's go. Yo, Carl. It's a history lesson for y'all. A little history lesson. I hope y'all ready. Y'all got a history lesson? All right. Off the first album that I ever done before. I hope y'all like it. You got a history. First time I ever performed it, man, so I hope y'all like it. Y'all ready? Let's go. Yo. Move me like never before. I initiate you, uninitiated and more. I'm a battle-hearted terrible, not here for the law. I'm a one-man army and I'll battle this cause. This is for my ancestors that came off the boat. Rock with no rock, they had nowhere to go. No, they had to sell their soul, just trying to cope. Life in the worst way, worse than the soul. Ain't nothing humane being on my slave. Never sight the slowest like what they gave. Never gonna stop until you die in the grave. Praying on by the soul, ain't how we made. Individual life experiences make us individuals forward from where we made. else. Collateral damage is residual. $1,000 more, got some clothes. Promise, open those minds, sympathizing the people and we'll do it in kind. Put your feet in their shoes, man, no matter the size. Man, we're feet struggle, but you see it or not. Black lives matter and we ain't gonna stop. Put it from the upper, gotta show what we got. No lives do matter, except our history slide. Hope in one land, we are family, man. Don't believe in this, I'm a family, man. Yeah, people gonna be bugging like Yosemite said. It's that Wild Wild West, way out of hand. No, only one earth, so united we stand. Peace on earth, it should be the plan. I'm a horseman, ain't no making a band. We stand firm in our belief of people that can't. Let's go. Sickening anytime it's ridiculous. Thinking it's the start, now everything is ambiguous. Adam and Eve, come on, while y'all ain't listening. Down here from there, and that was quite triple. Yo, get it all start from the Egyptians and Jews. 14 to the 12 BC with the screw. Let's go. Alexander the Great, then the Persian ensued. At 332, that's slavery too. But at 1441, Portugal took. Yeah, Africans from their homes like they was all crooks. Burning all their homes and their history books. Shattered mind states and I left them all shook. Spanish to keep the doors at about a century. 15 to 16, slavery was the pledge. Once it the Irish, the Scottish, the Roman Parliament. All the Chinese slaves of American atrocity. Britain bug on the slavery tree. Almost 200 years, slavery reigned. But to tell you the truth, or some citizen king. It's the world's history. I just put it in flame. Thirsty for the Nazi regime. Then 1933 to 1940s. Your life is appalling, ain't no fictional story. I'm sick of all this, like episodes of Maury. All the racism and that slavery chain. Let's go. Some say something and that ain't gonna change. Subjected to hell and we never the same. Can't live your life, take yours and change. I'm always gonna stand, never gonna sit. It's no BS, I'm never gonna quit. Never fight through the rain, never fall off the cliff. So all sunny days are all in my grip. Edification itself, isn't no trash. Being insightful, man, it's only the half. History repeats itself, and that is a fact. The sad history is written by the victim. Brothers by the tales, that's follow like scripture. Rather cut it out, I get it through the system. Written by the losers that the winners are fulfilling. Now you ask, why is this so? Puts the books and it's always a go. Just the way it is, and historians know. The truth of the matter is, this on the low. From politics to religion, war with the systems. Presidential debates, countries with the kingdom. Don't fall prey, back was thinking in wisdom. We are all humans, can't be all victims. This is history, your history lesson. Let's go. This is history, your history lesson. Let's go. This is history, your history lesson. I hope you're learning your lesson. This history lesson. Let's go. This is history, your history lesson. Yeah. This is history, your history lesson. One more time. This is history, your history lesson. I hope you're learning your lesson. On this history lesson. Let's go. Mount Hilda. I hope y'all ready for that. Yeah. My name Just Cause, man, of the Horseman. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So we got 2 more songs before we hop off the stage. But hope y'all enjoy these last 2 because we're gonna go out with a bang.
Absolutely.
What you got, man?
Hey, get it, go. Let's go. Let's go. And go.
Cash rules everything around me.
Broken alone. It's like the rap game found me.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I came from, so that don't change up.
When I wake it famous. Let's go.
No disrespect, but I don't wear Jordans. Growing up as a kid, my mother couldn't afford them. Remember walking off the school wearing the Walmart specials. Running the risk of kids who refuse to accept you. Didn't have a check on your shoes. I would rather write a check because electric was through. If it was heavy, my dude, my diamond chain was leaving green residue. And I be fighting for my life in the school's vestibule. Just remember walking. Came home from my work at the laundry, she found it and brought him home. I know I wasn't alone, but I felt that they didn't belong in a world where what you wore would play on. Your status in the world, whether boy or a girl. Poverty don't discriminate in the material world. As the story unfurls, can't teach me new tricks. I'm an old dog and will always stick to my script.
Hold on, yeah. Cash rules everything around me. Broken alone is how this rap game found me. Yeah. Hold on.
Where I came from, so that don't change up.
When I make it famous.
Remember where I came from, so when the change come, I know not to change up, counting a lump sum. Money makes people dumb, money makes people rum, money makes people real and count them while on the run. Money makes people come if you mess with the wrong one. Money can have you bitten, gone for the long run. Can't leave it up to chance, I gotta take a stance. So I grabbed the belt, pulled the decision, pulled on my pants. Let's go. Versace and Prada, I'm a leader, I never will follow. Work hard for my dollar. Haters hate not cause I'm living the dream, it's because I don't need a shirt to say I'm supreme. God, it's all about green these days. Any way we can get it, but when we get it, do we start up a business? Never. I'm in my growth like it's part of my job. My luxury is in my mind, and I never get robbed. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! I say cash rules everything around me. Broken alone, that's how this rap game found me. Yo, let's go, let's go, let's go. I know where I came from. Yeah, they don't change up, and I make it famous. No designer life for me, but there's more than what your eyes see. Highly likely, I'ma shine so brightly. Never have to worry about where the kid might be. I feel comfortable in my skin, even through all the places that I've been. And I don't give a damn if you like it or not. Your boy's hiding, not stop it till the jewels drop. Let's go! Yeah. Let's go! Cash rules everything around me. Broken alone is how this rap game found me. Boom. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I know where I came from, so that don't change. Let's go. When I make it famous. Let's go. It's the horse. Yeah.
Gorilla Flow 85. Give it up for the man. Thank you. Give it up for yourselves, man.
We ain't done with
Time. We got one last song that we wrote just for this event. We wrote this actually for the Alchemists. We want to thank y'all for opening this door.
Yes. Thank you.
And for your commitment to inclusivity. So we want to thank y'all for having us out here.
Yes.
This is our last one. We wrote this one.
It's because people don't want to take the knowledge and use that to grow.
This is called Black America. Listen.
First time ever.
Joe.
First time performing this song.
Oh, I got
We just made this last week. Let's go.
Listen,
I'm living vicariously through the beat. Cause I'm trudging hard and standing up to police.
Let's go.
No F's given, no F's given from me. That coincides with this Black America I see. And I live it every day. Slaves to a modern age. Ghettos in despair and history's getting erased. I don't understand. Where do we go from here? I'm stopping friends for school shootings every year. From mass shootings, great circumstances and fears all coming to an end. Full circle of years from Emmett Till. Buying orphans and gear. Systemic racism has us all in the rear. Want my 40 acres and a mule. Rosewood with Berry Hayden all in the school. This is for the real teachers steps into the wool. Heritage was passed down, I use it as a tool. Let's do that. Let's go. Yeah, do that. Let's do that. Yo, you ready though?
It's like society is blinded, man.
Beautiful.
Society is blinded.
Have a fresh.
Change gonna come.
You got something to say?
Still waiting. We still waiting for that change, though.
I really pray we overcome the system.
Today made that change, though. Y'all gotta be proud of that. Today
That's
was
facts.
the change. Yo,
That's why
check
we
it.
here.
Started with nothing, just some slaves, but won't take that to the grave. Wish I could turn the TV on and see a life being saved, but I don't. How we still judging others by their color. Big difference from being privileged and having to suffer. I pray the family make it home for supper. Cause nowadays you never know if they gon' come back home. Man, the system wasn't broke, it was made this way. Yo, so I just hope we see a better day. I hope they had that same feeling when Kaepernick was kneeling. It probably could have prevented that Minnesota killing. Now for George, we be kneeling 9 minutes and 29 seconds. They kill us, so I'll use my voice as a weapon. We all created equal. No one should come second. No matter the tone of your skin, still gotta respect it. Brother just should mean brother, sister should mean sister. If that went over your head, then I'm sad it missed you. Whew.
America.
Oh, that's right.
Land of the free,
That's
home
right.
of the brave. But it was the land of the free, unless you were a slave.
Sad, man.
Today, it's the same way.
Yeah.
But the plantation is the prison industry.
Facts.
We need change.
Yeah, speak on it.
August 28th is when I was born. You think about that day and tell me that we shouldn't be scorned. 1955, They took Emmett Till's life. 1963, the march on the Capitol to unite all colors, the black and the white. Join in on the fight, screaming equality, your future that's bright. Let's go. Can't walk at night without the fright of being shot. Start to shake as you're being pulled over by any cop. As we celebrate our independence, we still got brothers and sisters that's been independent. Kind of alarming because some of them are really innocent, but they get treated guilty. Name in the paper, the slander gets kind of filthy. Let's go. Public defenders, they pretend to have your back. They get hot to any plea just to get a kickback. We will perform from the ground up. We need action, policies that we're proud of. Proud of attack. Let's go.
Dang. Let's go, y'all.
Let's go. Yeah. Yo, I think you about to speak on it, man. Yo, man, speak on it, man.
Let's go.
It's about the government, police, abusing their authority to take down people like us.
Speak on this one.
Yeah. That's why we're here.
We gotta fight for our rights and turn this darkness into light. It's been a long time since slavery. We still gotta fight. Me and my people. He's using any excuse to use force that is lethal. Why they have to go and do the man George like that? When he said he couldn't breathe, they were still on that. Trayvon was just killed with a hoodie that's black. And the shot shut him down because they seen him as a threat.
Yeah, he's on the set. Everybody know. Juneteenth. Let's go. Get it. Hey. So we do this for the kids. I come from living, now everybody be standing here. This idea until we disappear.
So one time, y'all, just put your hands up for Juneteenth. Put your hands up for yourselves.
Let's go.
We out here. We the horsemen, y'all.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say something real quick. That something that's very alarming, something that is truly alarming, is the fact that I did not know about Juneteenth until 2 years ago. As a black man,
shocking.
I didn't know about Juneteenth until 2 years ago. Why? Because I've lived 20 years in Vermont.
Yeah.
I have grown up in a society where our education is whitewashed. And I hate to say whitewashed, but that's what it is. But anyhow. Florida's worse?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, no, you know it. Thank you guys. Thank you, my lady, for having the horse.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
For yourself.
That's beautiful.
One more time. That's what I'm talking about. Did y'all hear that truth? That realness that was just being spit for y'all? Oh my goodness. That might have been too much. I don't know. I had goosebumps. I had chills. I was like, whoa. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Speaking that real truth. Oh my goodness. I just want to say, I'm just so happy y'all are stuck with us. Thank you. And that's a very true statement. We don't learn, right? We don't learn. I've celebrated, so I'm from the Bronx, and I used to celebrate Juneteenth, but I didn't know what I was celebrating, right? I had no context. It was a celebration, but I didn't know what that meant or why it was important, right? And that's why accurate education is important. But anyways, that's enough of that. Did y'all enjoy those tunes? Okay. So to bring it on home and to close us out this evening before we do our thank yous and goodbyes, we have Burlington's own Rajni Adines who's going to perform for y'all. And so I'm just going to give up the mic. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, sir, because you are just yes. All right? All right, you as well. You want a mic?
This is fine. Thank you. Happy Juneteenth. Respect. I'm going to close out with two pieces. It's an honor to be with you all here tonight. This first poem is called Beautiful Sun-Kissed People, and I'd like to extend the invitation for all black folks and folks of color to come up front so I can bring this piece to you. This is about you, so if you feel comfortable doing so, you're more than welcome to step forward. Beautiful sun-kissed people. All right. So let's practice saying it one time. Somebody say, beautiful sun-kissed people. Come on, you can do better than that. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. Walking miracles, unfolding parables, ancient scrolls in ocean's throes. Love be a rose, adorning your ears. This morning will not bring mourning nor a thorn in tears. This forever moment is shorn of fears. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. We are on the cusp of overthrowing overseers. Light years beyond hecklers and jeers. No more tanning our hides while Dr. Jekyll steers. This love is sheer, transparent and near, as dear as your closest relative here. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. No conversation on us being equal. Just entertaining the thought is evil. We weave full, fully woven, lost and found, traded and stolen, but look what the eye beholding. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. Golden, black and free and ebony, mahogany and mocha bee, chocolate Haagen-Dazs can't see. Rivers running melanin, shallow men be monitoring, but Most High got it all intents and purposes and sovereign skin. Watches this here poem ascends, journeying and frolicking. Summer breeze is talking with the autumn wind, how winter just won't break our stride. Too much spring in step for us to hide, our victory is justified. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. We solarize with odor ties. Our currency ain't tokenized. We close to those focused and wise, whose feet arise on open skies. We white supremacy eulogizing, blessed ministry new horizon, and desperate attempts at euphemizing our brilliance with futile lies still will never neutralize. Too many youth been euthanized, fed sweet as prey to tooth decay, but truthfully our roof away has truth to say. Adorns the night, salutes the day, in beauty that the stars obey. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. I relate to you so musically, and oh, the joy it brings, like, lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. That's right. Let earth and heaven ring in sacred oath, 'cause after all we are betrothed to wondrous wonders of untold. Great grand good fortune that broke the mold. Can't buy us off with moldy bread. We've more than crumbs inside our heads, and crust just will not justify. When banquets alone are ours divine, we walk in gourmet grandma made. Deliciousness in every shade. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. Say, beautiful, blessed, bountiful, sun-kissed people. I praise the path that plants our flag squarely in earth of self-made basking, a glorious newfound approach that predators cannot encroach, that parasites and wayward folks at a mere glimpse will cough and choke. See, this radiance is brighter still than every sun that lights a hill. It calls from something deep within and pours from vocal cords and pen. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. I'm nourished just to see you. You furnish my living room with life abundant, killing gloom. You water every plant I have and flourish my gardens green and vast. Sing lullabies to my inner child and soothe all fears of foul defile. You spray me with your sense of grace and lovingly embrace my face. Say, I am you and we are race that founded every human trace. Say, sun-kissed people. I wake with your poems on my tongue. In my chest I hear your drum. From my lips I hear your hum. It gets me high and drunk as rum. On you I am forever spun. Your melanin I'll never shun. With you I am forever one. Has there been better? Never one. Say, sun-kissed people. I bequeath these odes to you. your next of kin and children too, and their children's 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 view will yet still match your vibrant hue. Use supernatural sorcery to walk in temples gorgeously, shaming cathedrals far and near, make a white Christ pale in the mirror. Sun-kissed children, you are it. Don't let nobody tell you shit, unless they fertilize in soil, to grow a rose regal and royal, to don a rose upon a rose, of red and black and green and gold, so poetically bestowed, it dignifies your inner throne. Sun-kissed children, marvelous, miraculous magnificence, outlandishly so unabashed, unapologetic sass, ultramagnetic blackness, the right goddess on your epitaph. That's blasphemy, surely, right? Because we know true goddess never die. Sun-kissed children, you kiss my eyes with all that sunshine you applying. I say I am in love for true, for you are me and I am you. From head to toe and all between, I love these princes, kings, and queens. I even find you in my dreams, and when I wake I vow to breathe and breathe to vow. With every vowel and consonant I can pronounce. Announce to cosmos all your feats, build castles for your sweet retreats. Goose feathered pillows, black satin sheets, a sacred lounge to rest your crown from all them wounds been crying out. Sun-kissed people have no doubt, you're all I am, what I'm about. Can't tell my story without your page. Hell, every chapter be erased. You sew my lines so seamlessly. We vibe on higher frequency. So let's not love in secrecy. My sun-kissed people, we piece the key. All right. Love y'all. I'm going to close out with one final piece. This is a piece in honor of my mom's. She created this. It's called I Like There to Be a War Where Nobody Came. It's a call and response. So when you learn your part, sing it too. She's a strong believer in recognizing that in war there are no victors because everybody loses a loved one. And the way to stop war is to refuse to fight it. I'd like there to be a war where nobody came. I'd like there to be a war where nobody came. Where the gunners didn't show and the flyers didn't flow. Like a river carrying death to those below. Where artillery moved too slow, missed the boat and the whole dang show. And we all refused to go, I said, we all refused to go. I'd like there to be a war where I'd like there to be a war where the infantry said no, in crisp tones the taste of snow. And the bombers stated clear, they won't go in any year. And sharpshooters closed their eyes, much to the brass' great surprise. And there was peace with no reprise. We chose the peace with no reprise. I'd like there to be a war where I'd like there to be a war where we first would check ourselves, see what our causes do foretell, tweak where tweaking would do well, then maybe check ourselves again. Remembering some crazy macho win does not signify a win, cannot signify a win. So I'll say it once again, I'd like there to be a war where I'd like there to be a war where we'd like there to be a war where wouldn't you? Happy Juneteenth, y'all. Keep shining. It's more than just a day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Listen. Wow. What a way to end the night, right? I know, little person. Little people problems. There we go. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for coming out to celebrate with us. I just want to remind y'all, it's about community. We all live here together, and we have to make it better together because not everyone in our community has the same experience. As Jess opened with, not everyone is liberated today. So what does Juneteenth mean for them? And what does Juneteenth mean for you? And what are you going to do to help improve for your community? Yes? All right. So, Living Liberation, Joyful Jubilee. I'm going to pass it off to my co-organizers to end with a fabulous thank yous for all of our contributors for the evening. So, thank you so much.
Do you want to announce this and that Rodney's selling his book?
I don't need to speak.
Okay. So I have my first announcement is if you liked this, there's also a celebration here for the 3rd of July. My uncle is putting that on, and he's part of the Shida projects. Also, Rajni is selling his books. I don't know exactly where, but just
over here.
Okay, with Ashley over there. So if you liked his poetry and want to read more, please go buy some books from him. And there is 5 Ghanaian food dishes up for grabs. So go back to my mom.
Do you want to say anything, Rodney?
Well, thank you. I just want to say thank you to all of you for showing up tonight, and also thanks to all the vendors and all the volunteers for making this possible. Thank you all.
Yeah, we know we're a few minutes after 8, so thank you for staying with us, for experiencing all of these amazing performers with us here today. I want to give a special shout out to Laura Smith with the Anti-Racist Story Hour, Happy Hour, Story Hour. Thank you so much for being thoughtful and thinking of the kids here today, and please do follow her work. There are still so many wonderful free offerings, so feel free to grab stuff on your way out. I told you all we will not go home with cupcakes. And thank you for your donations. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. And I hope to continue to see you in the work that we're all doing in the community to make Vermont a place that is safe and a place that Black people can thrive. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Thank you very, very much. But Montpelier, listen, we cannot leave this day without dancing. So here we go. Are you ready? Shovel, Cupid, shovel. Come on now.